Good morning. It is good to be together. Greetings and welcome to Mount Vernon Unitarian Church. I'm the Reverend Christian Schmidt, the interim minister of this congregation. I just want you all to join me in a breath in and out. Maybe some of you can join me in this. I have had a busy week. It is good to have a Sunday, to be with all of you, to slow down a little. So whether this is your first time with us or your 1001st, I'm glad you're here to support all of us together in this shared endeavor we call church. We are glad to have you. As all of you, I think, know, we're continuing to navigate how to best offer services in this time, navigating brave new technological challenges, as well as health ones. Indeed, today, as we celebrate our bridging ceremony, we have a couple bridgers who can't be here for health reasons, and our DRE, Ann Richards, is at home sick too, also not with COVID, but she'll be better in a couple days, I think. But bear with us as we navigate this service without her very important presence. We provide this forum each Sunday, both in person and virtual, to find comfort, and in the words of our mission statement, to commit ourselves to the mission of supporting one another in our spiritual journeys, to working for justice, caring for the earth, and building the common good. We gather to recommit ourselves to dismantling systems of oppression and injustice. I want to just remind you to continue to look to your emails, phones, our website, all the various means of communication we use for updates about worship and other church happenings. And know if you're ever in need, we're just an email or phone call away, so please be in touch. I invite you now to take one more deep breath with me as we enter into this time of worship. Thank you. Welcome in.
voices to speak aloud the covenant of our community. These words are both known within our heart and our order of service. Love is the teaching of this church. The quest for truth is its daily task, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve life in community, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. This is our covenant with each and with all.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing number 1051 in the Teal hymnal, We Are.
Each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandfather's friends, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the spirit of love.
the whole wide world in the palm of my hand. Everything's perfect, it's falling into place. I can't seem to wipe this smile on my face. Life is a happy song. When you're alone, life can be a little tough. Makes you feel like you're 3 foot tall. When it's just you, well, times can be tough. When there's no one there to catch your fall. Great, everything is grand. I've got the whole wide world in the palm of my hand. Everything is perfect, it's falling into place. I can't seem to wipe this smile on my face. Life smells like a rose, with someone to pick and someone to pose. My life's an arm of cake, with someone to pedal and someone to break. Life is full of glee, with someone to saw and someone to see. Life is a happy song, when there's someone by my side to sing along.
Teacup. Teacup by Rebecca Young. Pictures by Matt Otley. Once there was a boy who had to leave his home and find another. In his bag he carried a book, a bottle, and a blanket. In his teacup he held some earth from where he used to play. Some days the sea was kind, gently rocking him to sleep. Some days the sea was bold, and the boy held tightly to his teacup. Some day shone bright on an endless sea of white. Other days were so dark that the boy longed for the stars. Every day he watched the horizon for a speck he could follow until it grew into something glorious. But there was no sign of land. As the boy stared at the sky, an albatross cut across the blue. The way it dipped and dived reminded him of flying kites back home. The taste of salt on his lips reminded him of the sea breeze whistling through his favorite tree. The way the whales called out to one another reminded him of how his mother used to call him in for tea. and the way the clouds slowly swam into view reminded him of how things can change with a whisper. The boy awoke to something new. Over trembling seas it grew and grew and grew. The tree gave him shelter and shade, apples to eat, branches to climb, and cozy nooks that he knew were just perfect for daydreaming. From high, he continued his search for a speck on the horizon. When he first saw it, it was so very small, he wasn't certain he'd seen anything at all. But before long, there was a bump. The boy was happy with what he saw. There he began to build, and he waited for a whisper. Until the day the girl with the broken egg cup arrived. Every journey requires a traveler and a little bit of hope.
Mentioned earlier, we had a couple absences today. One of those is Ian Sims, who is listed in your order of service. He's out sick. I'm really grateful to Kyle Clark for stepping in for him. I also wanted to mention, after he gives the offering words, you're invited to come forward and light a candle of joy or concern during the offertory music. Thank you, and thank you.
Mount Vernon Unitarian Church continues to share the plate with committed organizations that you, our members, have chosen. During the month of June, our offering is being shared with Arcadia Center. Arcadia is a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating a more equitable and sustainable local food system in the Washington, D.C. area. We are a community that invites spiritual and material generosity from our members and friends. I invite this gathered community to offer whatever you are most comfortable with in spirit and financial generosity for the mission of our church community. If you would like to write and mail a check for the offering, please make it to MVUC, and in the memo line, indicate how you would like it to be used. You can also go to our website to give directly. We are so grateful for your donation. take a moment to prepare yourself for our time of silent reflection followed by spoken words. Holy mystery, silent presence, uncertain bearer of the weight of it all. In these quiet moments, we listen. We listen for the maybe still breathing, perhaps still whispering, faintest sign of the universal good. We listen between the cacophony of distractions, pulling us towards untruth and falsehood. We listen amidst the shrill cries of desperation, of we've had enough, of when will they stop killing my people, of how much more will the waters rise, of when will it be safe to return to my home, of how much longer we can hang on. We listen and we wait. Through the tumult of the days, we seek assurance. We seek the fulfillment of a promise made to ourselves, a promise made to those we have been stretched to call neighbor, a promise written and enshrined and yet unfulfilled. Help us, abiding mystery, to hang on, to hold on when all is in question, when all is in doubt. Help us stay firm to our own commitments and our own promises. Lead us back into connection, back into the bonds of humanity that help us to know each other is beloved. May we continue listening. May we keep watch. May we beckon love and justice and mercy with our own whispers, with our shouts, with their cries, until all know themselves part of the circle of love. Amen.
Please remain seated, but join me in singing number 1023, Building Bridges.
I'd like to sing the whole thing through twice, and then have the upper voices, sopranos or altos, sing, and then the lower voices, tenors and basses, sing. I'll direct you. All right? Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out for you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such deep harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of your voices and all of your visions, friends, we could make such sweet upper voices. Building lower voices, building bridges beneath our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Hi, this is Putting the Pieces Together by Reverend Amanda Poppy. I love jigsaw puzzles. I love that moment of satisfaction when you finally find the fourth corner piece and the smooth feel of the completed puzzle under your hand. But what I love most is seeing the picture emerge. How many times have I stared at the original mess of pieces, jumbled, upside down, totally disorganized, and then, little by little, noticed the patterns. Ah, these are all the boat because, look, there's the same blue. These, which looked brown, must be the pier, and those tan pieces must be the tree trunk. And how could I have missed the texture on these green ones, which are clearly the leaves? Life has often felt to me like a jigsaw puzzle, or really like the mess of pieces when you first dump out the box. When I've been faced with multiple decisions at the same time, it's felt as though I'm not sure which piece to fit in first. Little by little, I try piece after piece until one clicks. Then I can recognize the pieces that might fit around it, and eventually the pattern emerges, not just in the picture I'm creating, but in the mess of pieces I still have to pick up. Of course, jigsaw puzzles are for weekends away and snowed-in vacations. The times when I've really struggled, it hasn't felt relaxing at all. Years ago, I was trying to decide whether to leave town for a school that was the right fit, or stay in town for a new partner who I thought might be the one. Then again, he might not be. I wasn't at all sure what the picture would look like in either scenario, but it felt like a decision that would change the course of my life. It was, actually. For weeks, I agonized over making the right decision. If only I could go 20 years in the future, I thought, to see how each choice turned out. If only I knew my choice were the right one. The truth is that in real life, we can't see the photo on the cover of the box. We can only place the pieces one by one and see what kind of picture we create. Sometimes we turn out to have chosen the wrong piece. The fit isn't right. Sometimes the picture is wildly unexpected. I've learned to stay present to the slow work of sorting, and for that I need the reminder of my jigsaw puzzles. The just world that seems totally out of grasp until, little by little, advances are made. The mess of a life that appears to have no resolution until, little by little, a new possibility of healing emerges. The path forward that's unimaginable until it's not. So we'll keep sorting and finding the corners and waiting for the picture to emerge. Thank you.
Well, I don't know how to follow that up. So, but just a few short thoughts. There's a very, very old saying, sometimes thought of as a blessing and sometimes a curse. And it's both, of course, really, which is that may you live in interesting times. So today we honor bridging, which is a long-held ceremony in our community for those going from high school out into their next step, whether that be college or job or traveling the world, probably less travel these days, and those graduating from middle school, junior high, up into high school. This, of course, parallels similar traditions in many other religions, various coming-of-age ceremonies, and of course is analogous to the other things we recognize in our community, to births, marriages, memorials, ordinations. We recognize that there are important transitions in our lives and that this is an important time to recognize. So as we celebrate our Bridgers today, I want to attempt at least to be real about what they and we are facing. We are living in interesting times. I think of my grandparents who came of age shortly before World War II as things were going all across the world. My parents who came of age in the 1960s, a lot going on then. Shortly after I left high school, 9/11 happened. Today we're in the midst of a pandemic. I don't mean to lift up all just the bad things. Of course, there's lots of really good things happening at those times too. But we are certainly living in interesting times. And as we were discussing this in our worship team, the word that we really came to was uncertain. We are facing a future that is uncertain. We know some things about it. We know that a lot of things will change. We know that 2 or 2.5 years ago, we wouldn't have thought rather that it would look like this. And so the word uncertain times can be really scary. There's lots of things to be worried about. I don't even need to list them. I'm sure they're in your heads, much like they're in mine. But I like the flip side of uncertain too, that there's a power in uncertainty, that it gives us the freedom and the ability to make change. If things are not clear and not yet decided, and to be clear, this is an important cornerstone of Unitarian Universalism. We believe that the future is still unfolding and that we have at least some agency to affect it. So if things are not clear and not yet decided, then that means we have the ability to help decide them. Now, we know that there are many forces in our world that are working in ways we would not like to see, contributing to climate change, contributing to violence, to oppressions of all sorts of types. I would like to believe that we are working against those things, at least as best we can, however imperfectly. And so our Bridgers today, as you enter into a world that we have set up for you, I'm sorry, we're trying to do our best too, but we're excited about the future you face too, about the things that you will do, about the opportunities you will have about what will come of the next era of our world. So I say it as a blessing, not as a curse. May you and all of us continue to live in interesting times and uncertain ones, but that all of us will have the power to work together, to support one another, to be a part of making the world of which we dream. And so, because I'm conscious that we have our bridging ceremony in a few minutes, I'll end my comments there and invite the choir to sing once again. want to invite forward those Bridgers and their families who could be with us today. Come on forward right to here in front. Come on over a little bit. Come on. There you go. As I said earlier, illness has taken out a few of our Bridgers from joining us today, but we'll honor them nonetheless in just a moment. So throughout our lives, we stand on the side of love, and we also know that throughout our lives, we take our stands in different places, as time and learning brings us to changes and transitions. Today, as we come together in loving community, we acknowledge a time of great change, a time when some of our cherished youth cross the bridge out of high school into young adulthood. Each year, one or more young people from this church end their time in high school. Usually after they are through with high school, they head off to find a job or join the military or attend college. And most often that means these young people move out of town or have busy schedules that don't permit them to come to church as often. But we get to see them on holidays and in the summers, and we cherish these moments with you. So I want to name, unfortunately out sick today, is Ian Sims. I believe they're watching online, so hi. Presented by Amy and Mike Sims. And each year we also honor our middle schoolers who are moving on into high school, beginning a new chapter in their lives and educations. So as I say their names, I believe our parents have the gifts. If you don't have some more, okay, good. First, we've already met through his piano playing, Marcus Bogart, presented by Steve Bogart and Lynn Millett. And Kyle Clark, presented by Chris Clark and Brett Emerson. And those who couldn't be with us today, Malcolm Edwards, presented by Fran and Chris Edwards, Alex Geyer, presented by Lori Connor and Scott Geyer, and Josette Fogden, presented by Catherine Fogden Hernandez. We honor you as well. Our young people enrich the life of this church immeasurably. They bring their own perspective to church life. They bring their own talents and enthusiasms. Sometimes they can help to challenge the assumptions of older generations, and that can inject new energy and life into this church. So this then is a time of excitement. We're pleased these people are entering into a new phase of life. Some may not be around as much as in the past, but we want them to know that we will always be glad to see them here. And we hope they continue to be a part of our church community. We want you to know, too, that we will support you as you make the big transitions into something new. Support you in your dreams and in your emerging new lives. So today is our chance to recognize these transitions, these young people, in this, our bridging ceremony, bridging the gap between youth and adulthood, or between phases of youthhood.
And Ann Richards very much wanted to be here today, but unfortunately she's out sick. So on behalf of Ann, she wanted to say to you all that you have grown up in this church and you have been a blessing to this community. We would like to bless you as you prepare to move forward. We give you this gift as a symbol of our faith and that it may remind you of the roots you have grown, even as your wings take you into new adventures. We care about our youth, and even after they graduate from high school, we want them to know that this congregation and the UU faith will continue to welcome them and to wish for them all the gifts of growing and learning and becoming themselves. Forever our friends, we honor you at this transformative time.
I speak now as the voice of Unitarian Universalist ministry. We serve you as we serve the congregations that nurture you and the institutions that embrace us all. We have tried to give you the gift of roots and wings. We hope you will treasure what you have gained here and do your part to nurture what we have together. We bless you now with history and leadership. We welcome your leadership in this church or in whatever UU community your life journey takes you to. In the years to come, we'll welcome you in this church as young adults who we continue to care about. May you always find adult UUs to be allies as well as friends. May you find your own home in our congregations and in the wider world. May you grow in mind, body, and spirit. Forever our friends, we honor you at this transformative time. And now I invite the congregation to look at your order of service and speak with me. We speak as the voice of the congregation. We provided for religious education and youth programs, and we cherish your voices in our halls of fellowship. We have tried to give you the gift of a place to belong, a place of friendship and growth. We hope that you will know that we are here for you as you travel far on your many adventures, and that as you deepen and grow, so too will the traditions that cherish you. We bless you now with honor for this rite of passage into adult community. We bless each of you and all of you as you move into a new chapter. Welcome. Blessings on you all.
Would you stand as you're willing and able, and from your teal hymnals, number 1028, Fire of Commitment.
Join me in saying the words of our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together again. Our benediction today comes from Jean Olson, who writes, "May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and reveal your vulnerability. May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do. May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, playing your song with all your heart. May you draw, paint, sculpt, and sew, showing the world your vision. May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, graffiti, the great novel, laying bare your words to love and hate. May you love even though your heart breaks again and again. And until the end of your days, may your life be filled with possibilities and courage. So our worship is ended and our service begins. Please be seated for our postlude.